Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're getting our final review of Hell Unleashed by Evile. Alright, so we've been listening to this album as much as we possibly can all week long, and I'm going to hand the floor to TV Fish. Let's get with it.
Alright, so, I'm going to get this out of the way first. We're not going to include the track Zombie Apocalypse as part of our review because it came to our attention that it is a cover. What band was it? I forgot. Mortician.
And it's a sick song. Both
Yeah.
the original and the cover are lovable.
The cover was cool. I didn't really get a chance to check out the original song, but
Awesome.
yeah, so just to, lay the groundwork here, that is not included as far as our review is concerned. So, I thought this album was a pretty cool listen throughout the week, and one big thing that kind of kept coming back to me is that I kept realizing, these songs are pretty long for their genre, and they keep going, and it's like I'm thinking, wow, this is all part of the same song, the brutality just continues, 4 or 5 minutes, and I think that's a really cool thing for this album as well, because as per the genre goes, and as what we discussed last week, you really only see 2 to 3 minutes, and that's kind of it. So the fact that this band, still has the vicious, super fast thrash grooves, but also puts some flair into the songs and extends them and messes around with their formats and whatnot is really impressive that they're able to do that. Because one thing I kept finding myself doing throughout this week is I'd be listening to this album and thinking, oh, this is fucking nasty. This one's dirty. Oh no, but it's this one. Oh, but it's this one. I kept thinking, oh wow, this is a sick groove. This is fucking brutal. And that was happening for multiple songs. It didn't even matter which one it was. I'm like, oh yeah, this group. This one's fucking nasty. As for favorite tracks, the title track is certainly one of my favorites. That chorus is just awesome. I love it every single time. And I think it's a really cool pick to have that as the album closer. Because honestly, it's the kind of song you would totally expect to open the album.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I just think it's interesting that you have a song like that be the end of the album, but I mean, I think the track placement isn't really it doesn't matter that much.
No.
Every song is kind of giving you the same kind of thing, not exactly to a fault though, because I can understand that, it's this quick, thrashy stuff, you're getting really similar grooves, but the bridges are what really separate songs apart.
Yeah.
And, where's an example of one? The start of the bridge in Gore, I don't know if you listen to the guitar close enough, but it's just walking up and down the scale, at the start of the bridge, and that was just a tiny thing that I noticed, and I thought that was really cool. Gore also has a really good bookend to it as well, which is pretty cool. It starts the same, or it ends the same way it starts. And what else? It was kind of hard to really put too many notes on this album because every song kind of gives you a similar experience.
Yeah.
But it's a good one, though.
Yeah, it's almost like whatever you're expecting or hoping for in a thrash song, every song on this album is going to give you at least those elements.
Exactly. The bridge section in War of Attrition with the drum rolls, that's
Very
sick.
nice.
Just love that, totally... in time with the rest of the shots going on, awesome. He's going around the toms as well, fucking sick. I also love the bell of the ride that he's hitting with that groove at the beginning of that song, and I think there's another song where he does it as well. But yeah, I always love ride bells. Those are always great when people use those. But yeah, I feel like every song is super nasty but still provides something interesting, which is really good for the genre, for a genre that's kind of been stagnant for a while.
Yeah, I really had a good time listening to this album throughout the week. I felt like when I just put it on and it was playing, it was awesome. It was enjoyable as background music. But I did struggle a bit whenever I put my main focus into it, which we always try to do so we can pick out these little things that we can tell you guys about. Hey, check this out, it's awesome. Check that out, it's awesome. I was having trouble finding stuff like that to talk about. We mentioned some stuff in our first impressions. You mentioned some stuff here. Other than those things, I was having trouble with it. The highlight of this album for me is tracks 3, 4, and 5. That little chunk. So that's Incarcerated, War of Attrition, and Disorder. With the highlight of those three being Disorder. That song, I think, is the highlight of this album. It's right smack dab in the middle. It's got this really cool guitar intro. The guitar solo on this song is the best. And just the whole song in total, in general, it just feels a lot better to me. It was immediately added to my playlist, no questions asked. Paralyzed as the opening track started to get a little dull for me. Don't know exactly why. I liked it when I first heard it. Throughout the beginning of the week, I was like, Paralyzed is a good song. I kind of, gravitated towards it a bit. But after listening to it several times, maybe halfway through the week, I started going, Paralyzed, is it really that special? Like, what's so special about it? I couldn't really figure it out. Hell Unleashed, kind of feel the same way about that one. Started off really strong, kind of faded out for me. Gore probably became my least favorite song on the album. Now, we liked it when we did a reaction to it. We thought it was awesome. It has that cool intro-outro thing we talked about. It's kind of polyrhythmic, odd time signature sounding in the intro and outro. Gives it kind of a unique flavor to it, which is cool. I finally figured out where Brian Poston's vocals is coming in that song. Did you hear it?
I think it's like those almost gang vocals, kind of.
I think there's a gang vocal, but there's also a part where it's like an exchange of words going back and forth fast.
I think that's...
And you can slightly hear different tones of voices. I'm pretty sure that's where it is.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, cool touch there. The Thing 1982. How'd you feel about The Thing 1982?
See, that's a song that I really liked in our first impressions, and I still really like it now, but, that's an example of the struggle you were having, but with me, where it's like, with these songs, they're really good and they're really strong, but sometimes it's like, that's kind of what it is. There's not too many overly specific things to mention, but when you put it on, you still enjoy it. It's still really good.
Yeah, one thing I liked about The Thing is the solo in that song. It's not just like blazing fire. It's got some flair to it, but it still has heat. You know what I mean? That's something that I like when I'm hearing solos, and I thought that solo in that song was a standout solo amongst the album as well. I don't know. It's tough for me to really say a lot more about it. You mentioned the drums. The drumming is good. Guitaring is good throughout. Vocally, still probably a weak spot, unfortunately, on this album. And it sucks to say that because Drake watches our videos. I don't know if he'll watch this one, but he's watched our videos before. So I'm sorry, but I feel like there's a little bit of a weak link there. But, I mean, thrash is never really a genre that's known for having, amazing vocal standards. You know what I mean? So it's not really something you can fault the album for, and it does a job. It does the job fine. It's not like it sounds bad. It doesn't sound bad, but I really like to say, the vocals are amazing. You know what I mean? But I don't feel like I can say that. They just are there, and they just do the job as it needs to be done. So it's not really a fault, but I just wish I could say something positive about it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. Anything else? I'm struggling for more things to say at this point.
There's not much else really to bring up. So I guess we might as well rate this album. So what do you give Hell Unleashed?
Well, I do think this is actually a really strong album. I don't think that there's much that you can fault it for, other than maybe fault it for having special super standout moments. It does have a few, but maybe not enough. It's gonna get a 7 for me. I think that's a respectable score. I think it's a well-deserved score. I wish it had a little bit more spark to it for me to really go, fuck, I love this. I'm gonna put this in my playlist, that in my playlist, It just didn't have that quite for me, but I still liked it, still enjoyed it through and through. 7 for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this album throughout the week, and there were, like I said, multiple times where I thought, wow, this is nasty, this is nasty. But I kind of fell into the same kind of situation as you, where I couldn't really decipher much of the sparks that were coming out of this album. However, I do think it's a really strong album, overall enjoyable to listen to throughout the entire week, and I do feel like they do push the boundaries a little bit for the genre, which is great, but I don't think it really has this super duper spark like you were mentioning, so it's going to get a 7.5 from myself.
Pretty good scores, 7 and 7.5. Guys, check this album out if you haven't, and let us know in the comments below what you guys think of Hell Unleashed, and what you think of Evile as a band in total. But that's it for this video, guys. So pretty good scores, solid album, check it out, of course. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, like the video if you liked it, I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Keep those heads banging.